Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here. I'm still getting rid of my cold. I have a chest infections and my throat's a little messed up. It's nothing really serious. I haven't been to the doctor yet. It's just the same normal flu type of cold that's going on in my chest. So I'm gonna be slowing down on a lot of the videos. I probably will be more concentrating on my work and get myself better. But I'll try to get as many videos as I possibly can out. Okay. I'm gonna make this relatively short. Um, Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. Yes. Collider has reformatted their video section. Jedi Council, Collider News, all the stuff that we've been hearing from these shills is all getting canceled. I don't think they're gonna get rid of all these guys. I think they're gonna change to a whole new era. We're gonna see how they're gonna react to a lot of new videos and also to what's coming out for DC. I hope they don't shill. I hope they're giving honest opinions. If they don't like it, they don't like it. That's perfectly fine. But you can tell some of them are reading off of a script. You can tell they're reading off a script so they can get those press passes. Here's the thing. Yes, I would love to go see a Disney movie. I would love to go see a Disney movie, but I'm not gonna lie. The movie is crap. The movie is crap. The We expect better from Disney. We've gotten some of the greatest classic cartoons, animations, and movies over the course of 60, 70 years from Disney. And you're telling me they're not going to get lazy and you're going to accept it because, well, it's Disney? No, no. We expect better. You're paying $15 for yourself. You're paying close to almost $60, $70 for your family. And you're sitting there, and you as an adult is sitting there watching your kids jump up and down and they're listening to crap from Disney or they're listening to propaganda from Disney. No, that's not how it should work, okay? Okay, when writers when writers and directors are making propaganda to perpetuate their ideals onto other people in a very forced way, that's wrong. Listen, Steven Spielberg for a lot of generations has been trying to get to the heart of things, the emotional spectrum of the imagination of kids and the togetherness of friends and family. And he did that very, very well in the 70s, 80s, and the 90s. He's done it for a very, very long time. He's niched that market. There are some directors that could do the same thing as Steven Spielberg. There's others who try to do it and they fail miserably. But Steven Spielberg is hands down the greatest director of a generation, and and he has never really tried to change that formula that he makes for those family friendly movies. But he doesn't put his propaganda in there. He never does. He just tells you this is how families are supposed to be. If you could take that, great. If you don't, that's great too. But he also shows you different spectrums of families and how children are the future. And that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just the way it is. When we have children, when everybody has children, they are leaving behind a legacy, and that's what Steven Spielberg does a lot of the times. When you are forcing LGBTQXYZ on the people that don't want to see that in movies, that's not progressive. That's forcing, and that's propaganda. Now, if it's subtle and it's not part of the main core of the story, that's forcing. If the story is about a transgender man trying to make themselves into a woman, then that's fine. There's probably a niche for that. But why are you forcing those type of ideals into movies that have nothing to do with it? And that's what Disney's been doing for the past 10, 12 years. And now Marvel is doing it. Just because there are transgender or lesbian comic book characters, how about you introduce them and let the audience decide? But by him just telling you, oh, we're going to do more representation, it just means that he's going to force it into the movies. He's going to force it. And that's not what you're supposed to do. But everybody that I'm listening to, that's all they care about. Like, oh, we're gonna get representation, yay! So what? How about give me a good story first? Make it subtle. If the story is the core of that person being gay, lesbian, straight, whatever, heterosexual, they're bisexual, they're pansexual, omnisexual. I don't care. If the core of the story is about their sexuality, then that's what I pay my money for. But if I'm paying my money to watch a superhero beating up criminals, taking on cataclysmic events, taking down criminal organizations, I do not care about the fact that this person is a freaking pansexual. I don't care. It's just a caveat to their character. It's an add-on. But to make it the main focus, that is a freaking forcing issue. If you're not getting, sorry about that. Um, when you're getting audience members who basically are forgetting your movies. Now watch, in another 5, 6 more years, no one's going to be talking about Endgame anymore. No one's talking about Infinity War. We're still hitting on the fact of Iron Man's death and him doing the snap saying, I am Iron Man. And I love you 3000. But that's going to slowly leave out of pop culture. That's going to slowly wean away. But 2016, it's 2020, and people are still talking about freaking Batman vs. Superman. They're still talking about Man of Steel. So don't tell anybody that DC hasn't done good movies. If it's still being talked about, that means they did a good job. They did the marketing. Doesn't matter if it's horrible. Doesn't matter if it's doesn't matter if it's terrible. Doesn't matter if it's great. News is news. If they're still talking about these two movies, that means they made an impact. Thor Ragnarok didn't make an impact. It didn't. No one's talking about it. No one's talking about Winter Soldier. And that's one of the best movies they ever made. They're only talking about Endgame because that's the closest. No one's even talking about Captain Marvel. That tells you something. The only time you're ever going to hear about Captain Marvel is the fact of any type of bits that they're gonna bring into the fact of Captain Marvel 2. So what the heck is this all about? It's not about DC versus Marvel. It really isn't now. It's the fact that everyone thinks that Marvel made better movies. No, they didn't. They made movies that impacted you just for the split second, but nothing long lasting. You just got your 2.5 or 2 hour, 3 hour fix, and when you go home, you're just gonna move on. That's not what movies supposed to do. Movies supposed to make an impact, like art. So I completely disagree. I disagree with anybody that tells me that Marvel made better movies. And if you're talking about box office success, so what? That just means that more people just went to go see it. What DC has done has made impacts in pop culture. Even before Marvel was even around, if you go to a third, fourth world country, they're wearing DC material. A Superman shirt, a Wonder Woman shirt, a Batman shirt, or an Aquaman shirt. If you go to a second or third world country, they might be wearing a Spider-Man, Wolverine, or a Hulk. That is how embedded DC has made themselves into pop culture. Marvel has just made themselves a fad. Now, like I said, it's not going to be very long, but Collider is going to reface their whole video section. We got to see how they're going to do things and see if they're going to become legitimate critics. I don't think so. I think that we're going to lose a lot of people. It seems Mark Ellis walked away from Collider. It seems like Jeremy Jahns walked away from Collider. He's not talking. He's not doing anything with them that much anymore. Inman is not doing anything with them anymore, and he got let go from DC Entertainment. I don't know why. He seems pretty fair and sometimes very impartial. But in some ways he's the same type of fan that basically disrespected a lot of what Zack Snyder was trying to build. Instead of saying, hey, you know what, that's fine, but look at what we're trying to build here. He didn't try to build bridges. He was trying to basically say, no, it sucks. And try to hide the fact of that, because he knows a lot about comics. So I send this out to all the people of the Snyder Cut. I send this out to Film Gob. You beat them. You made so many videos exploiting their bias towards DC material and the fact that they're not honest with what they wanted. They kept talking. You had stupid cowboy. I forgot his name because he's immaterial now. He's sitting there talking about how terrible Aquaman was, but he completely loved Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they did the same things, except that Aquaman was way more grandiose. It opened up a whole new world underneath the water, and James Wan did a lot of hard work. Ant-Man and the Wasp was very, I'm sorry, it was done on a low budget, and that was the best they can do. Ghost was terrible, was a terrible villain, and they gender swapped him. Ghost was never a woman. Ghost was a dude. Then you introduce Goliath, and he was. They completely messed up the whole thing of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they made Ant-Man Scott Lang useless throughout the whole movie, and he applauded this. While we had an Aquaman, now despite how anybody feels about it, at least Jason Momoa was Jason Momoa throughout the whole damn movie. He didn't act out of the normal. He was still the fun-loving guy that likes to have fun, but he took things seriously when it hit. Yeah, there's some bits in there, especially the bit about the guy, the younger version of him that was sitting there talking about, it was his fault about his mother's death. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Even I have to admit it was pretty bad. But still, it didn't take away anything. Black Manta was phenomenal as a villain. He came in, did his job, got defeated, and we're going to see him in the next movie. Orm was phenomenal. He felt like Loki, the scowled brother that was trying to live up to a legacy that was built on lies. That's Loki's legacy. He's not the legitimate son of Odin. And he was trying to build his own legacy off of lies. He thought that he was the son of Odin. Orm thought that his mother died when she didn't. And I love that movie for that. They paid way more attention to the relationships of each of those characters, way better than freaking Marvel ever did with Loki and Thor. Way better. And I have a huge feeling that James Wan's going to pay way better attention to the relationship with Orm and Arthur, a lot better than what Kevin Feige did. And I have a huge feeling. And also, you got to realize something. Orm's character is he cares more about Atlantis than anything else. So he's not gonna be he's gonna be antagonizing towards Arthur, but he won't betray him. Not unless he knows that Arthur's gonna betray Atlantis. Sorry about that. So, but this is all about Collider, and I'm very very happy that they're redistributing the wealth. They're gonna figure everything out. They're going to completely redo their videos. I think they need to redo. They need to talk to their casts. They need to tell them, like, listen, this whole thing we're pandering towards a certain audience isn't working because we're getting way too many videos showing that you guys have bias, and we're losing audience members because they're starting to see it. And John Campea is going to be John Campea. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's going to keep doing the things he wants to do. He's going to have that niche audience that feels the same exact as he does. And they're going to listen also to Collider because they feel like, hey, no, they feel the same way as John does. I'm getting two different levels of news. No, there's some things I don't agree with Film God, but at least there's a lot I do agree with. There's some I disagree with Common Movie Marks, but there's a lot I agree with them. Same goes for Film Junkie. Same goes for DC Film Hub. Same goes for Chris Wong. I agree more with Chris Wong than all the other guys. than all the rest of them. I agree with a lot of what he does. He has more faith in humanity than any of the other guys do. They're very cynical. He really wants this cut. The most jaded person, in my personal opinion, is Film Gob. He's pretty jaded. However, he's fair. He is massively fair. And he laughs all the time about the fact that these guys they're giving him more news and press than they are trying to fix the crap that's going on with their own videos. It just shows that they don't know what the hell they're doing over there. I used to love those guys. But then I started to realize, like, wait a minute. Why do they have a big hatred towards Batman vs. Superman? None of them made movies. None of them. The only person there that did movies was I'm sorry, the gentleman who passed away. He did movies. He said he didn't like it. But then he saw the Ultimate Cut and it completely changed his mind. He said, wait a minute, no, this is actually a phenomenal movie. I can't wait to see Justice League. That tells me those nuances from Man of Steel and BVS started to make sense to him. He's starting to see, like, okay, he's building up to make something bigger. But he wasn't going to say anything until he had more information about what's going on with Justice League. Or until he saw it. That's the thing. If you couldn't get it, that's perfectly fine. Say it on the video screen. Like, hey, I went to go see this movie, and I saw this and this. I don't understand what you're talking about. We need to discuss this. That's the whole point of them having the panel. They're supposed to say, hey, no, this is what the movie was about. No, they don't have that type of videos. They talk about the news and they move on. News, move on. And they make jokes about things and they move on. They need to have it where they sit there and do a huge review, and when they do the review, they actually say, no, you're missing a point. You're missing a complete point. And it gets them to change their mind. Say, okay, you know what? I got to go see it again for me to understand what you're talking about. Because I didn't see that. That is the whole point of when you go down to museums and you look at art. If you go with two other people, you're getting three different views. If you're seeing one thing and they say, no, I see this, the other guys, no, I see this, you guys can sit down and discuss it and figure out what are we all seeing. It's like a Rorschach painting. It's like an ink blot test or a Rorschach test. What are you seeing? Sorry. I'm coughing up again. So, about Collider, I'm going to make this really, really short. About Collider, I'm glad they're doing this. I hope they reinvent the wheel. I hope they go back to just be critics. Be fair and bipartisan critics. Just because you get, if you don't get these free tickets to go see a Disney movie, so the F what? So what? Just say, hey, no, I didn't get any free tickets this time around. I'll just go pay to go see it. I want to go see this. But they want to get those free tickets. It's like, no. It shows you're being paid. You pay your money just like us, and you go in there and you give us a fair review. At least with Leonard Maltin, he basically gets free, and he still comes out and he's massively unbiased. Siskel and Ebert were the same thing. They stuck their nose up for a lot of movies, but man, when it came to certain movies, they disagreed. Disagreed a lot. But they were fair. They were fair for what they believed in. You're not getting that with Collider. And it sucks. Some of them need to be fired. Some of them, especially when they become antagonistic towards audience members who are trying to say, hey, dude, why are you talking this way? This makes no sense. You are disrespecting another person's work. He says, no, I'm not. I'm just being fair about it. No, you're actually being very rude. There's a difference between critiquing and basically being rude. And a lot of them be rude. Rude. And they don't know it. Because they're thinking they can hide behind their criticism. But then when people criticize them for what they're doing, they get defended. They get offended. Like, oh, they're getting angry because I'm having my own opinion. So what? If you're gonna do the same thing to these people and not apologize for it, then why the heck should we apologize to you? Zack Snyder deserves a lot of respect. If you don't like his movies, just say I don't like his movies. Okay, don't go watch his movies. Do not go see his movies. It's perfectly fine. You're not hurting his feelings. But when you go on there and you completely lambast the movie, you basically do affect a lot of the box office. Because people go, hey, I kind of like the movie, but these guys saying it sucks. Okay, I'm not going to go see it. And it sucks. So I'm happy that they're doing this. I hope that half of them get fired. I hope they lose their jobs. It's karma. They deserve it. All right, so like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Go watch Film Gob. This man has tons and tons of videos about Collider. You guys need to watch them because they are massively biased against Zack Snyder. They don't know anything about movies. They don't. There's only a handful of them that know about movies. And there's a couple of them I respect. I don't like them, but I respect what they talk about. But there's a lot of them I don't respect. Harloff, I don't respect him. I don't like him and I don't respect him. He's an a-hole. Mark Ellis, complete a-hole. Go back to funny lounging. Go back to becoming stand-up comedians. That's fine. You screwed yourself over. You screwed up your schmoes. You screwed up everything. And then a lot of these guys got hired over the DC Daily and tanked it. Men horrible. No, get these guys out of here. Get people that love DC. At least respects it. They don't respect it because they don't tell you exactly what they want. Okay, I'm sorry. So like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit that bell. I'll try to get some videos out, but my sickness is killing me. As you can tell, I'm coughing. I have a little raspy in my voice. So I hope you guys can forgive me. I'll try to get some videos out. Again, talk down below. Let me know what's going on. How do you guys feel about it? Go to Phil Gob and look at some of his videos. He exposes a lot of these guys, and it's really really funny. He does a lot of skits on about it, and also look at some of the other guys like Comic Movie Marks. Look at Chris Wong. Look at Dave Film Junkie. Look at DC Film Hub. I haven't even watched none of these guys' videos in a while. I've been doing my videos and barely been on YouTube. I just watch a couple of things, keeping up with my news, and play some video games. So try to keep myself relaxed. So I'll try to catch up on DC Film Hubs. And you guys have a great one, okay? And again, this is the new year. Let's start it off big. Release the Snyder Cut. Watch my last video about Are We Close? I do have an opinion about it, but it could change. So keep fighting. Do not give up. Just because I said I don't think we're probably going to get it this year, but that's only because of what I'm seeing, not because of what I've heard. But it could change, but keep fighting the good fight. Fight for Zach. Fight for Ben Affleck. Fight for Gal Gadot. Fight for Henry Cavill. And give those guys the opportunity to let this trilogy finally be ended, and then we can slowly start to move on to bigger, better things from DC. All right, you guys have a great one. Have a great day. Bye.